Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in good spirits, as it should, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. All right. We got some things we have got to get into, some conversations we have got to get into. This whole situation revolving around Shannon Sharpe is not getting any better. It is just getting worse. Honestly, Shannon Sharpe might be completely cooked. Yes, I said it. And I don't know what to do about it. Well, I don't know. I don't need to do anything about it. I ain't him. But it's a very sad and frustrating and wild situation for sure. And we got to get into this conversation because this is the reason why you make sure whatever cookie jar you're sticking your hand in is a good cookie jar. Ladies and germs, before you go in between them sheets, make sure that person's a quality human being. And also check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself as well. Real talk. Anyway, you know, the things people do for the hibbity-dibbity are actually the things that people will ignore and throw out the window for that hibbity-dibbity. It is unfreaking believable. Ay. Check yourself before you riggedy wreck yourself. Okay. Just getting this all out of my system now. That's what he said. Moving on. We got to get into this conversation, so please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you're watching on other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble. Make sure you hit that follow button on all those platforms. I'm on all their mugs, all right? And also, make sure you subscribe here on my YouTube channel, this main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go over to the second channel. Make sure you're subscribed, okay? And hit that notification bell on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random, y'all. Okay? So, please do me that favor, all right? At least I try to get at least 1 or 2 videos on this platform a day. That is the goal, when especially when the schedule is crazy. All right? So make sure that notification bell is set to all, okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com, okay? We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com, okay? All righty then. We got to get into this conversation, guys. This has been very bad. This has not been good for the Shannon Sharpe brand. This has been all types of bad, all right? Just the other day, Shannon Sharpe was hit with a at least, let me just say that. It was at a minimum $50 million lawsuit for SA, SB, R, and a whole lot of other things, I'm sure, as well. All right. By a Jane Doe that he actually exposed, put her name out there in these streets. So now everybody and their mama already knows who this person is. All right. But nonetheless, this woman, okay, this accuser is an OF model. Okay, that's important to know. And allegedly they met when she was 19 years old. She's 21 now. She's about 21 now. But when they first met, she was only 19 years old. Now, here's the thing. I got to find that Monique clip one more again, okay? Because I played it yesterday to wrap up the show. on the show yesterday, and I was like, yeah, that is exactly what I think a lot of us are thinking about the his choice in relationships and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, a man of a certain type of success and money and all that, as long as it's consensual, I mean, yeah, do you, I guess. But at the same time, given the fact that this woman was 19 when they first met, when they first started their very spicy and clearly toxic relationship, all right, and very kinky and nasty. Baby gravy. Moving on. Outside of that, okay, I'm not sitting here and clearly it's not, oh, how do I say this? Yes, there are plenty of women out there his age that would be able to keep up with him, I'm sure, okay? But it's a thing. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I can't speak for him because I am not him, okay? But man of a certain age still like them young, as we are starting to see even more. Okay. And so I leave that on the table for you guys on what you think on that. But nonetheless, she was dramatically younger than him. This wasn't like 15 his junior, you know what I mean? 15 years his junior or something of that sort. This was decades younger. He's 56, maybe 54 when he met her. She was 19. You do the math. Oh, my damn. Okay. And if I understand, he was dating a girl. He was dating her at 19, which was younger than his youngest daughter, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So again, still a bit, it's shocking. Okay. It's very shocking to for lack of a better term. All right. It's a very, very crazy situation. And now, because he put his hand in a cookie jar that maybe he should not have done, maybe he should have thought twice before he put his hand in the cookie. He's like, should I? No, I shouldn't. Before he said, oh, I'm just going to get all up in it, he should have had a conversation with himself, because now he's screwed. Because now you got $50 million that you're looking at for him, okay, if he is found liable of these allegations. Now, let me just say this really quick. He is still innocent until proven guilty in the court of law, all right? The audio clip that we listened to yesterday was very, very damning. I'm going to be real. Extremely damning. All right. It is not the greatest look. And it doesn't matter if this was cut out of context. Okay. Still, no matter what he said was not great, and it looks bad. Okay. It looks really, really bad. But now this woman, this accuser, and her lawyer, Tony Busby, I got to hit the button for that one. Now Tony Busby and his client, okay, this Jane Doe, is now putting out more audio. So after that audio, they brought in another one. And what's crazy about this audio is that he is doubling down in the audio. He doesn't say, I'm going to choke the ish out of you. And he says it more than just once, guys. And he makes it even worse the second time he says it again. So again, no matter what, I got to be real, no matter what, because right now, to me, it still feels like a mother-loving shakedown. But at the same time, he said these things, okay? He most definitely said these things in recordings. Now, I know he probably didn't know that he was being recorded, but at the end of the day, he said those things, and they're not great. And of course, when you have somebody who's accusing one of SB and R and SA and him putting his hands on her and all that stuff, and then they come up and they back that stuff up with audio evidence of him actually saying or threatening to put his hands on her, it is not the greatest look. Like I said, this man, Shannon Sharpe, could very well be cooked here, guys. And I know that might not make people very excited or happy to hear me say that, but I'm just saying it is not good. Tongue in buttholes. Yeah, that just popped in my head too. Have mercy. So after we talked about all those scathing text messages that he put out, real talk, that's why I said what a segue. Tongue and buttholes. Okay. Speaking of tongue and buttholes, he did put out text messages between her and him. And all of them were very racy. See what I did there? Very racy. Spicy meatballs of text messages. Things that I don't ever want to read. I've already repeated them. So, but I just kind of sprinkled them in throughout the show here. Things that she Ricky Lynn said, "Bro, I'm trying to cook. I'm sorry. But at the same time, these were real text messages that were sent to him. Okay? Yeah. Now I didn't okay. So aside from those text messages, he puts those things out, right? And of course, yeah, it's true. Falone Tavius, you can't unhear and you can't unread those things. Once you read them, it's just stuck in your head. Okay, just tongue and buttholes. Yeah. So we read all those text messages. Obviously, they're very racy. They're very spicy. They threw me off because I was like, I don't even know if I can even code word any of this. You just kind of have to rip the Band-Aid off and read what's being said. Clearly, it shows that they have a very kinky relationship. Okay. And there might be some BDSM stuff going on. Maybe they do have a safe word like pineapples. You know what I mean? Aardvark. Something, right? But nonetheless, she comes out with that audio. She follows up with that audio to basically say, oh, just because I had these crazy, kinky, very spicy, wild kind of text messages with you does not mean that you didn't say these things to me, right? Now, what's interesting about this as well, that has thrown a lot of us off. And this is something that happened right after I got done with my live. I'm not kidding. As soon as I got done with the live covering the audio, the first audio that we heard, his response, he did a video. He put out a video, which we're going to circle back and look at that video again, because he talks about there's a possible tape, a little freak-off tape that he might have put out here soon by her and Tony Busby. Apparently, they've been extorting him. This is what he's alleging, that they've been extorting him and basically blackmailing him, saying that if you don't give in and give us what we give my client what she's asking for, that they would leak out tape, these actual tapes of him with her, right? So we heard all about that. And then we wrapped up the show with a tongue in the butthole. But now, as soon as we got done with that show, there's been new updates. Okay, right after I got done, I was like, damn, I wish I saw this right before the show was over. Because what's very interesting is that they apparently, Shannon Sharpe and his team, offered this woman, this Jane Doe, $10 million to settle this doggone case. Just to let it to rest. A little different than what we assumed, like what happened with Cassie and Diddy, right? I assumed at least that not Tony Busby, but Cassie went up to Diddy and said, hey, I got this tell-all book. I'm about to expose everything. You are about to go down. But if you give me $30 million. This tell-all book will never be seen. It'll be thrown in the trash, or it'll be thrown in the shredder and nuked, right? Be set into flames if you give me $30 million. Diddy just said, try me, right? And then she did. And then now he's locked up. But this is very interesting. So I'm assuming, this is just me assuming, that there was some sort of counter offer. I think that there was initially an offer. That's what I'm trying to say. Initially, there was an offer by this Jane Doe. And then they came back. Shannon Sharpe and his team came back with a $10 million counter offer. Now, the reason why some people are like, why would he offer $10 million if he's innocent? Well, let me explain something really quick. In the world of being a man, yes, I'm about to say something that might sound, it might get people feeling some type of way. But I'm going to say it because being a man can be tough out here in these streets too, dagnabbit. So I'm going to say it. Sometimes when it comes to being a man, there's certain things you do not want to be called in these streets, or it instantly forever is branded onto your body for the rest of your doggone life. So let's be real. Something like being called an apist, something being called an absolute monster out here in the sexual nature, in the spicy nature behind closed doors, that is not something you want to be called. You do not want to be called that. Period, point blank. As a man, especially as a man as successful as Shannon Sharpe. The Joe Rogans, the Shannon Sharpes, the Don Lemons, the Chris Cuomos, all those names, right? Anybody, okay? The Chris Browns, the Neos, the Weekends, I'm just naming as many successful, the Michael B. Jordans, okay, of this world. Do not ever, okay, ever want to be called something like this. Because once you are called that, it's almost like there's no return from that. Doesn't matter if you come out with proof of innocence, absolute smoking gun evidence that this particular person lied. Doesn't matter. There's still going to be some corner of the world that's going to be like, I heard he did that thing to that girl. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? There's still always something. Remember when the Jane Doe with Jay-Z, that whole thing came crumbling down? As soon as we came out with that information, what happened? What happened? What was the instant reaction from a good portion of the world? Oh, she got paid off. Oh, yeah, Jay-Z paid her off. Oh, absolutely. They paid her off. So no matter what, Jay-Z now, okay, whether you like it or not, all right, he's been exonerated. He's from what we understand, because there is no lawsuit going towards him as far as R goes, right? He should be able to walk and be like, okay, he's exonerated. He did not do those things. That lawsuit fell through the cracks because that person was not telling the truth. And that person dropped the case. But there's still a corner of the world that still says, oh, yeah, he's definitely an R and he's definitely an SAer and he's such and such. I don't believe it because he probably paid that girl off. And I'm going to be real. It doesn't matter if you are the richest person in the room or the poorest person in the room. The one thing you never want to have happen is be branded an SAer or called an R or an Aer, an abuser. You don't want to be called those things ever, because your name, your reputation is forever tainted now. So when I look at something like this with Shannon Sharpe going, all right, okay, you come Shay, I'm sending you $10 million. How about that? He's terrified, especially when this guy has a 9-figure deal sitting on the table. looking all good and stuff. All he got to do is sign, put his John Hancock. Wait, hold on. That doesn't sound good right now either. Or he just has to sign on the dotted line and he gets 9 figures for his podcast. Turn it into the Black Joe Rogan, okay? Or his own version of himself. A very successful him, right? What would you do in this situation? Would you sit there and go, hey, no, let's fight it out? When you got a huge deal sitting on the table, just sitting there, perched, ready to go. And then suddenly you get this lawsuit saying, I need money and I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to destroy your name. What are you going to do? I could see somebody being desperate and saying, hey, I'll give you $10 million. $10 million and get out of my life. Okay? Get out of my life. Or, here's the other thought too. Or, he said $10 million because he knew the audio was going to come out. And that audio is really bad. Maybe he's like, no. This girl's going to be diabolical. She's going to paint out this scenario, making claims that I was very aggressive to her, very violent, etc. And then on top of it, she has laid the groundwork to set me up with these recordings of me saying that I'm going to put my paws on you. What if he said, oh, my dear Lord, this girl was playing chess, not checkers. In fact, this girl was playing 4D chess, not checkers. And it's like, oh, snap, she got me. No matter how many ways I do this, I can go ahead and say I'm innocent, I didn't do anything, blah, blah, blah. She still has that audio. And sure, I put out text messages that show that we had a kind of like we had some spicy encounters in the bedroom. But at the same time, she laid out the groundwork. Like, this girl did the long game. She did the long con. If these allegations are false. So imagine if you were looking at that. You're Shannon Sharpe. And she's like, I got stuff on you, bruh. Try me. You want to give me $10 million? Do you know what I got on you? I got videos. I got audio of you saying that you want to put your hands on me. All I got to do is say one thing. All I got to say is 3 words. Or actually 4 words. Shannon Sharpe, ard me. That is it. And all I got to do is just slowly leak out this information, these audios, and it's a wrap for you, bro. So I could see him offering $10 million and being like, listen, yo, I'm at the precipice of absolute success. Even though he's already had his fair share of success already. I mean, he's Shannon Sharpe. But if you really think about it, right at the cusp, right at the moment that he's about to go nuclear, right? Suddenly, boom, audio. Oh, I got video too. And I'm going to say you said you SA'd and SB'd me and all that stuff. Man, that is some bad news. That's bad news bears, y'all. So I could see him coming up with how about if I just give you $10 million and we just put this on the side? This never existed. You sign a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement of some sort. You get your $10 million, okay? You don't ever have to take off your clothes ever again on OF. How about that? You got $10 million. We got a deal. It didn't work. It did not work. Let me get the super chat really quick. Glitter, thank you so much for the love. Shannon is definitely giving a whole new meaning to the term tongue-in-cheek. Oh, okay. More like tongue-in-cheeks. Yeah, $50,000 cheeks, by the way. Really? $50,000 cheeks? I seen the girl. I seen it. I seen her. $50,000 for them chicks? Have mercy. But okay, you know, hey, you like what you like. Who am I to judge what you like? But at the same time, the fact that this girl is saying $25,000 per cheek. You know what? Let me just say this really quick too. I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna go into this article. I promise. But I'm just asking this because off the top of the dome here. Okay, let's just say you're not even Shannon Sharpe, but you are at the same level of Shannon Sharpe. Okay, man or woman. This has nothing to do with high value man and all that BS. No, I'm just saying you are either a very successful woman or a very successful man. Okay. Now I understand that there's been a lot of successful people who will pay for their boyfriend or girlfriend. This is kind of what I'm catching. Okay. That they'll go, hey, I'll give you a place to stay. You'll get your own apartment. You'll get your own nice whip. All I ask for you to do is be on my arm. Be there when I be at the events that I ask you to be at, and give me some loving when I want some loving. Right? It's a brand new version of a concubine in a certain way. Okay, and hey, if that's how you want to make your money, that's how you want to make your money. As long as everything's consensual, all right, do you? That's not how I want to live my life, but at the same time, if that's what people want to do, that's what people want to do. But what I'm trying to say is, what I'm interested in, what I'm curious about is, you're at a level of success. Why would you have to pay for anything? You're a successful man or woman. Why would you need to pay like $25,000 per cheek? Not saying that he was paying that, but if he was paying for her time in a way, why would you have to drop that kind of money for any woman or any man? You're at the level of success. Why would you need to do that? You could literally have the pick of the litter. It doesn't matter. Oh, by the way, guys, because some of y'all are like saying, because he's ugly, because he's not attractive, man. Hold on. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because there's a lot of times these guys do not look good and they're very successful. But man, do the girls come running. So again, this is where we're at. So when you're successful, you can't get no loving. You got to pay for that, like literally pay for it. It's just another version. Like, to me, that's S working. With all due respect. Not trying to downsize or punch down at anybody. I'm not trying to do any of that, talk down at anybody, anything like that. If that's how you do it, that's how you do it. But that, in my personal opinion, is S work. So that's where we're at. Make that make sense. So again, I just go, why would you go? You got that money, though. You got them bags. You could probably go into any place, okay? Super fuck, pardon my French, sorry, but super James Bond up in this place, right? Super debonair up in this place. And everybody gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's the very successful person, such and such. We always hear about, I got options. You do, but you're still paying for the options that you got. So explain that to me. And then why? No, I ain't got that money. Damn. Okay. I ain't got that money at all. Man, I wish I got that money. And I would teach people how to live the life in the best way possible. Okay. Like I said, this is ridiculous. Yeah, it's a pay to play, which I think is ridiculous. Okay. Okay. It just doesn't make any earthly sense to me at all. And then they say, like I said, high value men or high value women, we got options. But then but then we're hearing stuff like this. Oh, we're spending the money for these options. It just doesn't make sense to me, y'all. Okay, maybe there needs to be a motivational speaker for these high value men and women that are sitting there going like, stop paying for love. Okay, because that's not real. You just basically materialized and are now making it a commercial transaction. Okay, a financial transaction for love. And if you really are looking for something real, you're not going to find it in somebody that you're spending money to be there for you with. That doesn't make sense to me. And then, how do you know you're meeting and finding the best quality person if they're only really there because of your money, the money that you are paying them, and also because of the success you are actually the success you actually have? Now, I understand that's very tough to figure that out, but at the same time, real talk, make this make sense. How are you going to find quality people when stuff like this happens all the time? Not this, I'm sorry, but those type of arrangements happen all the time. So in other words, for the successful man or woman that has that good-looking, person on their arm, they're just a hood ornament. Are you having meaningful conversations with this person? Or are they just your plaything for a short amount of time? This is something to think about. All right. And that's the other thing, too. I agree, E-Rock, right? How is the hibbity-dibbity even enjoyable when you're paying for it, basically? That's just my thought, too. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, man, you got the money. You got the success. Why do you need to go to an OF model or any person? And let's just say, what are the conversations at dinner like? Real talk. What are the conversations like at dinner? Are you talking about politics? Are you talking about investments and monies? Are you laughing over a comedian that you love, talking about a movie that you love, that you just saw that you really loved? Are you opening up to this person and telling them your fears, your hopes and dreams? No. You're probably having like an appetizer, getting a bottle of champagne, and you guys are going and bashing it out in the bedroom for a few hours, and that's it. Is that a quality relationship? I'll answer that for you. Hell to the no. Hell no. But welcome to the world that we live in now. We live in some wild times, y'all. Wild times. But let's get into this, okay? So now we know that he offered at least $10 million to settle this case. All right. So Shannon Sharpe's attorney just revealed to that Shannon Sharpe, okay, made his offer to the accuser of at least $10 million to close out the case before it went public. Yeah. Like I said, I do not blame him for doing what he did, especially given the fact that this was going to destroy him. And you have a 9-figure deal coming out. Okay? 9-figure deal. Hundreds of millions of dollars. But anyway, his lawyer, all right, said in a meeting with reporters Tuesday, the proposal was doled out during mediations with the plaintiff within the last month or so. So he knew this was coming out. He knew all of this issue was about to hit and drop like harder than Hiroshima. Davis, the lawyer, said Jane Doe initially seemed to be considering it, before she suddenly, without warning, walked away from our offer. She may have had more information, or she has more recordings, and she's like, nah, I can squeeze more out of this lemon. I could definitely squeeze more juice out of this lemon. So Davis later added it was, quote unquote, a big surprise to us when suddenly this case was filed without any advance warning. Or unless Shannon Sharpe had a conversation with her and it went belly up really fast. Maybe. Doe, through her famed lawyer Tony Busby. I know I always gotta hit this button whenever we hear Tony Busby's name now. Filed a lawsuit on Sunday in Nevada. She claimed in it that she met the ex-Denver Broncos player at a gym in Los Angeles in 2023. See, but that's the thing. Some places are saying she was 19 when she met him. Some places are saying that she was 20 when she met him. That part has not been completely solidified yet as far as her age. All right. Still doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. She was 30 some odd years his junior. Dear freaking God. She is young. And that means that Shannon Sharpe be old. He old. Like she was reading in history books about 9/11, and he experienced 9/11. You feel me? She probably hasn't even seen a landline phone when she was growing up. It was all cell phones. You know, that's how young this woman is. You see what I'm saying? Very young. Probably one of her favorite artists was Bieber growing up. That's how young this woman is. Do you understand that? She said she began a consensual relationship with him, though she described it as a controlling and verbally vicious one as well, according to her suit in late 2024. After she tried to break things off with him, he AR'd her. She said he again SA'd her again in January of 2025. So just a couple months ago, guys. So Busby, who's been all up in this stuff as we've seen as of late, he released this audio, which we heard yesterday, but I'll play a quick snippet of it in a little bit, okay? He put out this thing yesterday of an alleged conversation between Sharpe and Doe that he says took place near the end of their relationship. In the clip, Sharpe can be heard threatening to effing choke the ish out of her. Don't worry, he doubles down on that again later. We're going to hear that fresh new audio here shortly. Davis acknowledged the audio in his meeting with media members Tuesday, and stated his client spoke in the heat of the moment and did not literally mean the words. For the rest of Doe's allegations, Davis denied all of them repeatedly and said they will be filing a counterclaim against Doe shortly. Davis also said he believes there will be a video of Sharpe and the accuser released sometime in the near future. Oh, man. A freak-off tape was starring Shannon Sharpe. Moving on, he cautioned people to withhold judgment on it whenever it drops, insisting it's heavily edited. So, let's take a listen to this audio. Oh, don't do an ad. Ugh. Ladies, are you looking for DSW shoes? Come to DSW and get this ugly, ugly ass shoe. That's an ugly shoe. Oh, my Lord. But she feels spectacular in those ugly ass shoes. DSW. Let's take a listen.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
what? What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Woo! Whew.
Thank you.
He said, what again? Hold on. We're going to play one last time.
Thank you.
Oh, whoops. I went ahead. I went.
Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Not good. No bueno, cabrón. No bueno. No bueno. But here's the thing. His lawyer has come out. We just read it just a second ago, basically saying, yeah, he said that. He said that, but it was in the heat of the moment. And he didn't literally mean those words. Okay. He's cooked, y'all. I'm going to keep it a bean. All right. And also he's working on, he has a show with Stephen A. Smith on ESPN. I think it's First Take. I think it's called First Take. Anyway, they are, from what we understand right now, he has not been fired or put on suspension as of late, unless there's something new. I mean, when I checked it yesterday, they were saying, hey, we're stepping back for right now. We're looking into this situation before we actually kick him off the show. One thing is for sure, though, his presence on First Take has put ratings up quite a bit. So I don't know if ESPN is going to sit there and say, we got to let you go. They might hold out for a little bit unless there's more scathing stuff that comes out. Also, I think he got fired from or put on probation or something like that on another show he was on after he accidentally live streamed him bashing this other girl, okay, on IG. Yeah, everybody learned his stroke game on IG. He could have said it was for educational reasons. His own version of National Geographic. You know what I mean? Shannon Sharpe's Call of the Wild. Or something like that. Right? But no. From my understanding, he got in some serious trouble with his job because he was live streaming blowing some girl's back out. Yeah. That actually happened. Yeah, live. Moving on, though. We got more. So, as I said to you guys before, there was that counter offer. And of course, people are wanting to know, why did that happen? Why was there a counter offer? Why was there even an offer of $10 million? Well, Lanny Davis, his lawyer, speaks out and explains why there was a $10 million settlement offer. So let's take a look at this. So he disclosed during a media conference call, the Hall of Fame tight end and media personality Shannon Sharpe offered at least $10 million to settle the claims made by this woman who sued him for SA and other claims on Sunday. In writing on the matter, I expressed my own opinion that in the court of public opinion, it would be difficult to balance Sharpe's strong assertion of innocence against his willingness to make an 8-figure settlement payment and to share that information openly. So he objected, the lawyer objected to, this reporter's characterization. He asked for an opportunity to respond. I told him to send a statement and that I would consider posting it. He did. I did. And here's what he sent. I strongly disagree with Mr. Florio's opinion that Mr. Sharpe's decision to pay the plaintiff who engaged in blackmail, a threat to publish a private activity unless she was paid substantial money, in any way infers that Mr. Sharpe was responsible for any wrongdoing and certainly does not change his belief and mine as his attorney that the plaintiff lied in her allegations in the complaint she filed and was responsible for an edited tape leaving a false impression of non-consensual sexual activity, and she has refused to allow that tape to be examined by an independent expert to determine whether she made any editing or deletions in the original tape that she secretly made during hibbity-dibbity with Mr. Sharpe. In fact, Mr. Sharpe decided to pay the substantial blackmail money demanded by the plaintiff for the same reason why many, many other innocent people subject to a blackmail threat decide. So, decide, usually painfully, to pay the blackmailer for the same reasons as Mr. Sharpe, having absolutely nothing to do with any admission of wrongdoing. In Mr. Sharpe's case, as in the case of virtually all other similar subjects of blackmail, the reason was primarily to avoid public embarrassment for himself and his family and other adverse consequences to his life and reputation. So what did I say earlier, guys? That he could be paying this off because he wanted to get ahead of it, put it down, get it buried, because he doesn't want to destroy his rep, doesn't want to destroy his family's name, doesn't want to destroy his life. And let's not forget, instantly when you're called an error, whether it's true or not, it is stuck to you like glue. Okay? Just saying. So I could see them giving an offer of $10 million, getting this close to actually making it happen. And then she pulls out. I don't know why she pulls out of the deal, but she did. So again, him giving money to her to say, hey, okay, I'll give you 10 million. Leave me alone and put it to bed. Put this whole thing to rest. It's true. It's not fully an admission of guilt. This could very well be him being like, listen, what's $10 million out of a 9-figure deal for my podcast? That's pennies on what I'm going to be making when I sign this deal. Let's do this $10 million. I don't want to do it. I don't want to give her this money, but as soon as I get this stamped on my body, it is branded on me for life. Damn it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Give her that $10 million. Let's just wrap this up, B. Okay? Orchestral music. Wrap it up, B. Trying to make this money, trying to grab this bag. So fine, she can take a little piece of it. It's one pay. It's one payoff, and she gone. And I ain't never smashing no OF models. Not never again. I know that was a little R. Kelly there, but you know what I'm saying. Y'all are killing me over here. You know what I'm saying? At least that's what I think he was thinking after doing this. He's like, I ain't never putting my hand in not nothing OF cookie jars. Not never again. And I'm going to listen to Monique. I'm going to talk to that girl with no teeth. Moving on. I respectfully suggest that if Mr. Florio take the time to do fact reporting and interview many others who made the same decision as Mr. Sharpe to pay the blackmailer, and be able, based on fact reporting and not opinion writing, to demonstrate that most people who decide to pay blackmailers do so without the slightest implication of admitting to wrongdoing or any worry about personal wrongdoing. He may also decide in his own reconsideration of this subject that there was nothing inconsistent in my statement that Mr. Sharpe denied the lie, that he did anything other than engage in consensual activity, and that the tape secretly recorded by the plaintiff was incomplete, contained deletions or edits to mislead the viewer into a conclusion that the actual encounter was non-consensual. I am disappointed Mr. Florio omitted his opinion piece. My challenge omitted in his opinion piece my challenge to the plaintiff and her attorney that if they claimed that there was no such deletions or editing of her secretly recorded tape, that she should give the attorney the permission to turn it over to a neutral professional investigator to determine whether or not it was altered in any way. And of course, thank you, Mr. Florio, for publishing my respectful, strong disagreement with your opinions. And then he says, here is my response. First, you're welcome. Second, as to the issue of the edited tape, Davis has an absolute right to obtain the video within the confines of the litigation. Rule 39 of the Nevada Rules of Civil Procedure provides the power to do so. So they can still get this and, look to see if it's been redacted, if there's been any editing, any manipulation, etc. They have every right to do that. They can't just put that stuff out and be like, oh, this is, what it is front to back, right? Front to cover. This is the whole S tape. And you can hear everything that he says and what's being discussed and all that. There's a way that she could have been manipulating the whole conversation. There are ways of that. So he has every right. His team has every right to obtain that file and then do their own digging, right? They have every right to do that. So the public pressure to release the tape immediately seems to be, in my opinion, part of the effort to score a victory in the court of public opinion. I practiced law for 18 years. This is number 3. I practiced law for 18 years. I was involved in many negotiations regarding civil claims. Settlement discussions, in my experience, were always treated as confidential. I never had a client who wanted a settlement offer, whether made before or after suit was filed, to be disclosed publicly. I never represented a plaintiff in a case where the defendant disclosed a settlement offer publicly. Typically, those who would make a significant payment to settle a legal claim insist on confidentiality, in part because of the concern that this information could prompt others to try to score a quick and easy payday of their own. My interpretation of the information from Davis was and is pretty simple. It would be hard for the average person to reconcile a loud insistence that the claim is false with an offer to pay at least $10 million to settle the case. And if Sharpe is indeed being blackmailed, there are ways to respond that would better mesh with the reasonably expected reaction to such a threat, in my view. You know what? This part right here, he has a point. He does have a point there. Okay? If he was really being blackmailed, there are ways to respond that would mesh with a reasonably expected reaction to such a threat. $10 million? I don't know. It's something to think about for sure, okay? Because that is a lot of money. And of course, being accused of something, and then you're going, hey, how about you give me 10 million? Or how about I give you 10 million, right? Something interesting. Let's see. Let's continue. He could have turned the matter over to the authorities. Abso-freaking-lutely. He's got a point. He could have filed a preemptive lawsuit offering at least $10 million and then telling the world that at least $10 million was offered makes it harder to thread the needle, in my opinion. That he's got a point. He had other choices here. He did. But at the same time, they didn't go that way. Number 5, as to the invitation to, quote unquote, interview many others who made the same decision as Mr. Sharpe to pay the blackmailer, it would be impossible to even begin to make a list. The goal is to pay the money so that the situation never comes to light. No one pays a blackmailer and then buys a billboard to announce that a blackmailer has been paid. Ay, Chihuahua. He's got a point there too. But you also got to remember, they offered in Shannon Sharpe's team's defense, okay? The blackmailer, the alleged blackmailer, said, yeah, let's sit down. $10 million, let's make it happen. And then she decided to back out of that deal and then filed at least $50 million lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe and then made that public. So again, when he comes out and says, hey, listen, guys, like, we tried to work this out. I tried to get her to stop. This is a full-on shakedown. She's trying to destroy my life. Yes, Nick, she got very greedy. I offered her $10 million. We could have put this whole thing to rest. We could have moved on, but then now she upped the ante. She wants 50 million, and now she's trying to destroy my name. So I'm just trying to show to you guys, hey, I tried to get her to shut up. I tried to get her to not file this. And she was trying to extort me for 10 million. Now she's trying to extort me for 50 million. I get that part too. But at the same time, if you're getting blackmailed, this reporter or whoever this is has a point. Why didn't you call the authorities? Why didn't you report this and put this out there? Why didn't you just get ahead of it in that way? But that's the other thing though too. It's the other piece of information. We're done with this one here, but we're gonna move on. Okay. But that's the other question I have as well. Okay, on top of all this, for the accuser, if he really did criminally, if he did something criminal to you and you're still within the confines of the statute of limitations, why didn't you just go after him criminally first? Last I checked, with all due respect, I mean, I'm not a survivor, nor am I a victim or somebody who is surviving. But last I checked, most people, if it's within the confines of the statute of limitations, they want justice. They want to see that monster locked up for good. So why not file a criminal? Why not charge him? Why aren't we seeing him in shackles? Why are you only going after him financially? So any person that's looking outside of this, they see the whole breakdown. Oh, she an OF model. She's really young. He's super old. Okay, he a dinosaur. Okay, in comparison to her, he dial up. She what is it? Not even Wi-Fi. What's the fastest cable? It's cable internet. Okay, like completely different people, completely different decades that they were born in. He was born in a time when horses were still pulling carriages. Okay? I'm joking, but still, he old. All right? He old. So you see all the breakdown of this woman. Fiber optic, whatever the hell it is. But anyway, fiber optic, whatever it is. But anyway, you get my drift. She young, he old. So it's like she just came out the womb, okay? He been out here collecting dust for a long time, y'all. So you see that. You see that she's an OF model. You see that she's saying, hey, I want this money, so on and so forth. He did these things, but now she's got these recordings. Instantly, people are going to look at that and go, okay, she either is a victim or she's trying to blackmail him, trying to extort him. But again, if you are somebody who is wanting true justice, you're not wanting that person running around. So first you're going after them criminally. Then second, you go after their money. Then you go civilly. She doesn't do that. She's going straight for the money. But he's going to be able to walk free, walk around. But she's alleging some serious crimes, guys. Hear me out. She's alleging some serious crimes, everybody. Serious crimes. And she's going to get the money and she's going to let this alleged, what she claims to be a predator, walk out here in these streets? Make that make sense. You got alleged smoking gun evidence. You got recordings. You got video recordings. You got all this stuff. And he committed a crime. This is what she says. Twice. One just a few months ago. And you're only going after that money? Optically, that looks weird, y'all. And I think a lot of us would say the same thing. But moving on. Here it is. We got a new recording, y'all. And this is not good. It's not good because why? He says, I might choke you in public. Now, I don't know if this is like some weird, demented, twisted, like role play type of thing or no. But this is not good. Okay. So let's take a look at this article right here. Oh, Shannon Sharpe, he could very well be cooked, y'all. Shannon Sharpe's accuser, all right, his lawyer has released new audio. Like, and then of course, I feel like every day of this week, there's going to be a new piece of audio that's just going to be leaked. And then the other thing too, I'm going to keep it a bean. I'm going to keep it a bean. Why hasn't there been a law that's been created stopping from people recording you having relations? If you don't know you're being recorded and you in the middle of a very intimate moment and that person can go out and leak it out on the internet, there should be a law against that. Isn't there a law against that? Can't Shannon Sharpe go at them and try to stop that from ever being released? A cease and desist type of thing or something? I don't care how good looking you are. I don't care how great looking you look without your shirt, your clothes on and all that stuff. I'll be real. No one needs to see anybody in the middle of the hibbity dibbity unless you're a pro doing that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's revenge stuff. So why isn't that being said? Why isn't that not being put out? Yes. Revenge corn. Why is that not being put out? Why is he not saying that? That's what Shannon Sharpe should be saying right now. That's illegal. How could they have the audacity and the ability to put that stuff out? As soon as that stuff comes out, they should be getting all kinds of citations instantly. Because they now know where it came from. Tony Busby should be getting some serious charges, as well as the Jane Doe. You can't just put this stuff out. That's insane. But okay, that's just insane to me, guys. So he dropped the file Wednesday. Tony Busby dropped a new file Wednesday morning and issued a statement saying that Sharpe's attacks on him and his Jane Doe client were a big, stupid mistake. He goes on to say the audio provides a fair picture of the relationship shortly before the alleged attack in this case. And apparently there was 2 attacks, 2 moments. Okay. And of course, the clip starts off with the 2, while the 2 are apparently in the middle of a phone call with Sharpe's accuser asking the former NFL star, if he's coming to Los Angeles, and he confirms he is. We're going to come back to that those text messages in a second. Then the accuser, who was allegedly 19 at the time, at the time that she met Shannon Sharpe, says she doesn't know why Sharpe, who is in his mid-50s, would want to go out on the town. Sharpe tells her not to worry, and the conversation soon turns to her getting choked. Excuse me. She tells Sharpe she has no interest in being, having his hands around her neck. But Sharpe seems to ignore her. He says, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman. Ah, chihuahua. Damn. Moving on. But she says some things. She says some tangs, though. She responds that it's not a good look, prompting Sharpe to accuse her of doing something to him, but it's not clear what it is. The discussion ends with Sharpe asking, well, what? Sharpe's legal team insists conversations of this nature were common in their relationship and don't indicate serious threats of violence. So they point to a text message, which they say was sent by Doe to Sharpe in October of 2023. That shows Doe asking Sharpe, quote unquote, we already know about this, but the dog collar around her neck and then, tightening it while he's banging her out. Okay. So they said a rep for Sharpe added, this is a very small excerpt with no date or context attached to it. As you know, he's already being filed for R and all that stuff. So let's take a look at some of these here. Okay. So it says, but I cried when you left. Hold on. But I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and not put it in my, okay. And you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon. From her again to Shannon Sharpe. I don't know how to process this. Then Shannon Sharpe responds saying, can I call you later? So they're there and they're in the middle of the thing. And then suddenly, wrong hole. That's what basically happened. And he just let it happen. He just continued doing what he was doing. And now she's sitting here saying, wait a second, I don't know how to process this. I told you no. No means no. So maybe they were doing some things, and then within the boundaries of what was going on inside that bedroom, it suddenly went from yes to a hell no, and he still did what he did. This is what she's alleging. Like, it was fine in the beginning, and then he decided to take this to uncharted territory, possibly? I don't know. But she says, I don't care what our history is. No means no. Shannon. Eesh. Yeah, I know. Some people say, let's be real. Some people think that, that area, that uncharted territory is more than just a one-way street. Some say it's a two-way street. Hey, however you like it, that's how you like it. You know what I mean? That as long as it's consensual, which is exactly what she's saying right here. This was not consensual. We were fine during this time. And then you put it in a place that you should not have put it. I told you no, you did not stop. That is a big problem. That is a huge problem. Okay. Now it's a situation on, they're in the throes of passion and there might be some slippage and it accidentally goes somewhere, it mid thrust. That's possible. But at the same time, usually it's like stop and then you stop and you go somewhere else. You go back to the other lane that you were in, if you get what I'm saying. But this doesn't sound like that. That sounds like he continued and did not stop. That's bad. That's really, really bad. Jeez. But at the same time, though, she's sending text messages like this. I want to be abused, daddy. That's what she sent to him. I want like some hardcore BDSM action, though. Hardcore BDSM action, though. Hi, Chihuahua. Okay, we're here. We're gonna be listening to this new audio, and this is not good. This is not good, y'all. Let's take a listen.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public.
Ay, ay, ay.
Big black guy chokes small white woman.
We got to talk about that moment right there. Hold on. We're going to play the rest and we're going to repeat this again. Hold on.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Okay,
Okay. I need to repeat this again. Now, here's the thing. We've read and heard all the other text messages yesterday, right? A lot of them were very race oriented. Some of them like, I want you to put a big black baby in me, stuff like that, right? So again, I can see where some people are looking at this and going, could this be foreplay? Also, I've also heard people think that this is edited, okay? That he's playing a role, he's playing the role, and then she's editing on top of it her responses, right? Like changing the responses and making them different to make it seem like she's like some damsel in distress. Because what if she was basically saying like, yeah, I would like you to choke me in public or something like crazy like that. Maybe she was saying that. She could have overdubbed some of this and faked this audio, right? Using real audio from him, but using fake re-edited audio from her. That is possible here. But nonetheless, he is saying what he is saying. And I would love for him to come out and say, yo, no, man, it was role playing, y'all. This whole thing was role playing. And what she did is she re-edited her responses to make it seem like I'm being violent with her, but I'm not. It was all role playing. I was playing a role and she was with me on it. And now she changed it into something else. But he also seems like annoyed as well. But I don't know. Maybe he's not annoyed, but it just seems a bit. Let me just say this. Like we talked about earlier in the show, there's a understanding between these two, right? They get together, they do their thing. Maybe there is some sort of transactional thing that goes on. I don't think this is just a relationship where they just get together and get naked and have a good time. I think that she's getting something out of it financially. So maybe in his mind is like, I want to go out on the town. So I said we're going out on the town. We're going out on the town. When I get to LA, that's what we're going to do. Whether you like it or not, this is what I want to do. This is what we have agreed on in the past. So we're going to stick to the game plan. When I get into town, we're going to do this. There may be some controlling situation going on for sure. But if that's how the agreement was laid out, then that's how the agreement was laid out. That's possible too. But this is something interesting. Let's play it again. But that other part where he's like, big black guy, puts his hand on a little white woman, like, that sounds like race play to me. That sounds like that could very well be just him role playing with her. You got to remember, she's sitting there going, I want that wild BDSM daddy and all that stuff. Those are the kind of text messages that they get, but that they were giving to each other. So what are the chances of this being just a whole bunch of foreplay before he comes into town? Crazy, y'all. Crazy.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
To me, this sounds like, to me, it does feel like, oh, he's in so much trouble. But still, it sounds like he is putting out it's like this weird race play BDSM thing. You know? This is a whole role play thing. That's the vibe I'm getting. That maybe she's acting like, oh, I don't want to go out. And he's like, no, woman, you gonna go out because I told you so. You know, like it's all this role thing. You know what I mean? At least that's the vibe I'm getting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Nicole. Yeah, role playing the night before. Absolutely. They rev up the engines right before he gets in there. The anticipation is even more palpable. That's the vibe I'm getting. I don't know. Some about it seems like, I'm gonna roll that part again. Sounds a little bit like role play.
And getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you do with the shit you did to me.
Now I want to know, what is it that she did to him that makes him so mad? Right? Unless that's just some fabricated, made up thing. And they're acting like they're in an argument, right? She did a very bad thing. She's a naughty girl. You know? Like that kind of thing. I don't know. It's just so odd. Dang.
Okay, well,
oh man, that's some crazy stuff, y'all. I don't know what to make of it. It's insane. It's really, really insane, y'all. He's got a lot of explaining to do. This is a very, very bad look for him. All right. It doesn't matter what you think, what side you are on, how this whole thing has played out, and how everything is rolling out. This does not sound good at all for him. Man. And then of course, she's young, and then, man, it's bad. But I want to play this really quick for you guys. We got a few other things we're going to look at. We got Stephen A. Smith's response to this whole thing too, coming up here in just a short second. I just wanted to play this really quick because we now know that there is an S tape out there that she does have, and Tony Busby allegedly has, and they're going to use it and possibly leak that S tape out, this freakoff tape, all right, out there to destroy Shannon Sharpe. This is insane.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, And now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about. And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
Okay. And of course, we've seen this video before, but I wanted to play this so you guys can hear this again. And I have to say this, and I said it earlier in yesterday's show. And of course, I have to do this with the megaphone again. Stop making sex tapes with random ass people. Okay? Hear ye, hear ye. If you're successful and make a lot of money and are on camera all the time, stop making sex tapes with random ass people. Yes. Stop it, guys. Stop it. Don't do it. See, this is the problem. I don't know why people think that this, like, I get it. You know, you want to get a little freak on. You want a little memory, okay, to hold on to a little bit later. You feel me? But at the same time, let's keep it real. You're a successful person and you're smashing random. This ain't your wife. This ain't your long-term girlfriend or boyfriend. You know, this ain't your husband. This ain't your spouse, your partner, your ace. Your sword at your side. This is some random person that you're just having some really nice temporary moments with for a temporary time. Okay? Quit making videos with random people. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop being dumb. Stop being dumb. All right. Because again, he put himself in this situation. This is the bed he made. Literally. Because now it's on video, allegedly, out there. There's a video that she has. And he's like, well, it's actually 10 minutes long. It's a 10-minute long video. I don't know if there's a beginning, middle, and end to this video, okay? But there's a 10-minute video that allegedly is going to get out in some sort of way. If he does not, I guess, give her the money that she wants. But on some real stuff, stop having relations with people on camera if you're a very successful individual. Stop. Or make it and then make sure it's completely deleted. Delete it, erase it from every memory bank, from the cloud, etc. Erase, erase, erase. Make sure it's gone, 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 gone. Why waste your time, y'all? Because this stuff happens. Stuff like this happens, especially when you're a successful man. Let me just, a successful person too. But here's the other thing that I also find funny, because you're never going to see this kind of problem with Joe Rogan unless he out there just, you know, walking out on his wife. Well, you're not going to see anything like this with Joe Rogan because he's a married man, and hopefully a happily married man. And I'm sure he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff in that bedroom. All right. But that's between him and his wife, y'all. Not just some random OF model that you were smashing for a couple years. Sheesh, man. So we got to take a listen to this. Stephen A. Smith had some things to say as well. I think this is a very interesting situation. Oh, man, this, like I said, you know, is he cooked? Yeah, I think Shannon Sharpe is cooked. Real quick, Diane, thank you so much for the love. Thank you for bringing us the new news, Pascal. Of course. We are here to talk. We are here to discuss all of them things. And this stuff is just absolutely knuckin' futz. And I'm telling you right now, if he just made the better decisions on the people that he surrounds himself with or that he goes to bed with, okay? he would not be in this situation right now. He wouldn't. Don't get me wrong. I think that, I like his show. I like the interviews that he has. He has a huge responsibility on his shoulders. And I do believe that he needs to be acting accordingly, acting responsibly. Don't get me wrong, I get it. You want to have fun, you want to have your cake and eat it too. Apparently, tongue in the butthole. But still, you need to be savvy and picky about the people that you bed with. It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation. Okay, it's not like you're just some young guy who's free to do whatever he wants any old time. Okay, it's not like you could just go to the local bar, pick up some girl, go and have a one-night stand, and keep it moving. You are an international name now, so anywhere you go, anyone you do, they're gonna know you. They're gonna remember you for life. Just saying, you got to be very, very cautious and very choosy on the people that you surround yourself with, especially the ones that get to see you in your birthday suit. You got to be careful. We got Stephen A. Smith here. Okay. Stephen A. Smith, he's, a commentator, sports commentator and all that. He's on a show. He shares the same show with Shannon Sharpe called First Take. Okay, and First Take, Shannon Sharpe recently was added to the show, and obviously the show has been doing a lot better. Not like the show wasn't doing well before, but it's been doing a lot more views because Shannon Sharpe being added to the show. So it's been a big situation with ESPN. Everyone's looking to see what ESPN is going to do next in regards to these allegations. If they're going to put him on like some sort of suspension of some sort while they look into more of this stuff. There hasn't really been anything solidified as of yet on that, but we are looking, but they are looking into it, and I'm keeping an eye on that too to see if he's going to be on suspension or not. All right, so let's take a look at some of what he has to say here, and I'm going to speed this up. Okay,
Shannon Sharpe. And I'm sincerely hopeful and prayerful that he is completely innocent of the allegations that have been levied against him. I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt from a knowledgeable place because I have nothing to do with this. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything. I don't even know this person. I know what the reports say. I know the reports, things that have been reported on a multitude of outlets, from the AP to the New York Post to Forbes to TMZ and everything in between. I mean, I can't even count the number of publications that have talked about it or written about it, networks, etc. It's all over the internet. It's everywhere. And I know that. I'm fully aware of that. This is not a criminal case. So there is no concern about him going to jail. This is a civil case. Which means that he can either be found liable or not liable. The accuser in question is seeking $50 million. That was confirmed by Shannon Sharpe on that video today. According to the reports, it's somebody that he met in 2023, who was 19 years old at that particular moment in time. According to some audio that was put out earlier today by Attorney Busby, you hear the accuser, the female, talking to somebody who is alleged to be Shannon Sharpe. We don't know whether that's true or not. And
first off, it is most definitely Shannon Sharpe. There's not many people on this planet that sound like Shannon Sharpe. Okay? Unless you're, what's his name? Joe Farrow. All right? Who is an incredible impersonator. Oh, but that's about it. So that's definitely Shannon Sharpe. I get him saying, like, we don't see his face. We don't see him talking. We don't see his mouth moving on camera. It's just audio. So it's all alleged. It's true. All of this is alleged, but let's keep it a bean. That is Shannon Sharpe.
the person in question, again, we don't know whether it's Shannon or not, other the words choke, as in I will choke the hell out of you if I saw you. And so because of that, knowing that audio was probably going to come out along with additional tapes, whether they be video or audio is unclear at this particular moment in time, Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense. How we interpret that? Let me be very, very clear about where I'm coming from. I'm a bit torn in terms of his response. On one hand, Tony Busby has sued Jay-Z. He did sue Diddy. He did accuse them, or represented the woman who was accusing them of assault, of sexual assault, and said that she was 13 years of age at the time when talking about Jay-Z and Diddy, and Jay-Z went ballistic and emphatically denied it, wouldn't let it go. The case was dropped, and now he's suing Busby, mentioning words like extortion and other things. So when Shannon Sharpe brought up Mr. Busby in that video that we aired and talked about him being extorted, he brought up Mr. Busby and Mr. Busby's past. And he talked about him, going against African-American men. There's two thoughts there. On one hand, there's the Jay-Z, who obviously should be presumed innocent, not just because you should be presumed innocent until found guilty, but because of the manner in which he fought on his own behalf and has been very aggressive in going after Tony Busby. In the case of P. Diddy, you don't know what to believe. Again, the case against Jay-Z was a civil suit. Diddy was a civil suit. But in Diddy, you don't know what to believe because of all the allegations he's facing. But we can't forget that Tony Busby was also the person that represented at least 24 of the 27 women that accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct along with other allegations. And at least 23 of those cases were settled. So we have an obligation to mention that. So on one hand, going on the offensive to defend himself, I completely understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from. On the other hand, when his legal team issued out the press release on X yesterday, and they spoke about, they mentioned her name, and they revealed some of those explicit text messages, that was uncomfortable.
I'm going to be real. I agree. I'm just going to keep it real. I really don't think, I think the worst move, oh yeah, and I'll say that again. I sped up the video, okay, because he does kind of take his time, and I'm trying to condense a lot of stuff in this show, and that we're watching a decent chunk of this video. So I sped it up. But one thing is for sure, one thing that I think that Shannon Sharpe made a huge mistake on is putting that Jane Doe's name out there. That's what I think. That was the wrong thing to do. Real talk, I don't believe. I think that was very, very effed up and wrong. Now, I get it that I get it that it's extortion. I get it that when you get something like that, when you get some sort of allegation like that, that's going to anger you. That's going to piss you off. I get it. But at the same time, you also got to remember what people are looking at you optically as well. How you're getting perceived out here in these streets as well. And if you're exposing that person right out the gate, that may look like something else that you don't want it to be. We ain't talking about high school drama where it's like, oh, I need to one up this person. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a person that's accusing you of doing something so deplorable, so egregious that you really have to tread lightly on what you say next. Because it can come back to bite you right in the ass. I said it. It can. Because instantly it's like, oh, so he is a dangerous guy. So he is controlling. He is this, and this. He just exposed the victim's name, and he should not have done that, guys. Because now people will can look at that and go, oh, wow. Oh. Now she's going to be scared for her life. Think about that for a second. Now she can use that. Even so, whether it's right or wrong, she can now use, and if she's manipulating everything and she's been playing 4D chess and all that stuff, she could literally come back and say, now I'm scared for my life. And then we get this. I'm telling you right now, it's not good. It's not good to expose. Now, I saw somebody in the chat just say something. Hold on, let me grab that before I forget. Denise said, how's it wrong with her suing him for 50 mil? I don't look at Shannon in no kind of way and don't blame him. Now, here it is. I understand what you're saying, but I'm talking about the optics in these streets. Yes, there's going to be people out here going, oh, no, not Unc. Unc is innocent, man. Free Unc, right? Free Shay Shay. And I understand that part 100%. But we're talking about chess here, not checkers. We're talking about chess. And if this girl is everything and lying, she's already 15 steps ahead of him. And if he reacts in a way where he didn't think it through, okay, it could come back and bite him right in the butt bad. She could say, I'm scared for my life. See, this is exactly how he is. He's a dangerous individual, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to expose me. Think about what happened with Diddy. Diddy was trying to expose all the Jane and John Does that were coming out for him in all their civil suits. And in my personal opinion, I said, no. Obviously, it's up to the judge to expose those names or make them have to expose themselves, etc. But at the same time, this can also be an intimidation tactic. Make somebody scared to step forward when we already know the history of Diddy and how he is a very violent individual. Now, you look at something like this with Shannon Sharpe. It could apply to him as well. So he has to really tread lightly, and every choice that he makes out here in the public sphere has to be premeditated. He needs to think about these things before he just jumps the gun and starts exposing people. Okay? One thing I will say about this whole thing is I did not agree on how he put that stuff out there, how he put her name out there. I'm not siding with her. I still think that this is a shakedown. I said it. But there's still room for a possibility of him actually being an absolute monster and actually doing what she's saying that he did. But right now, I think that this is a shakedown, baby. I really do. But he's not making the situation any better for himself when he starts doing things like exposing her name out here in these streets. You don't do that, guys. You just don't. Because it could come back and bite him right in the butt and get him into more trouble than what he wanted. All right. In fact, she might be like, I want $100 million now because of you exposing me. Oh, you gonna expose me? All right, then. Bet. You about to go down, right? So, not a smart move on his part, putting her name out there. It was not.
And I don't know if that's a strategy that would work. One of the hardest things in the world for all of us to do is to just lay low and be quiet. And let our legal team do it. And we don't always know whether or not that's the right thing to do. I know, and I can tell you all that I spoke to Shannon. Not in details, but I spoke to him.
Okay.
And he emphatically proclaims his innocence. According to Mr. Busby, his client emphatically proclaims his guilt. So where does that leave us? I'd love to tell you that I know the answer to that question, but I don't.
One thing I need to point out. One other thing I need to point out before we hear more from Stephen A. Let me just say this really quick. Remember the text message that we just saw? And she said something along the lines of, hey, I told you no. Like, you put it in my back door and I said no, and no means no. What if that didn't even happen? I know. She's putting it in text message. Think about this for a second. Someone can just text anything. I really hated when you took my canary and ran off with it. How dare you? And then, Shannon Sharpe's like, what? What canary? What are you talking about? Why are we talking about birds for? Why are we talking about our fine feathered friends? What are you talking about, baby? You see what I'm saying? Anybody can text anything. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that her allegations or that situation in the sheets did not happen. All I'm saying is anyone couldn't say anything. You can text anything. I told you not to put in my A and you did. No means no, Shannon. I don't know how to process this, right? And then he texts her being like, can we talk? He texts her back being like, can we talk? Because he's probably like, what if it didn't happen? And she just puts it out there so it's there on record. Think about that for a second, y'all. Boom. That's a possibility. 40 chess this woman could be playing. 40 chess. She put it in yes. She put it in writing so that there's a record of it. It doesn't matter if it didn't happen or if it did happen. It's now on record and now goes with her narrative. You see what I'm saying? So if she was the king or the queen of manipulation, she's been writing this whole story since the moment that they freaking met when she was 19 years old. It's diabolical, y'all. It's diabolical. But it could very well be what the situation is here too. Oh, here's a very rich man. They get together and she starts plotting. Or they get together, he gets in trouble because he gets caught smashing the hell out of a girl on IG Live. That is not her. She gets angry, jealous, and she starts plotting and puts together this whole situation. And then suddenly out of nowhere on a text message, I told you not to put it in my A. No means no. Send. Wait, what? I don't know how to process this. Send. That could be possible, y'all. Then you got all these recordings of her being like, I don't want to be choked. Well, I'm going to choke the hell out of you the next time I see you. In fact, I'll choke you in public. Big black guy chokes little white woman. I'm just saying, she could be playing 4D chess this entire time. Think about it, y'all. It's diabolical. If I'm correct, if that is a possibility, that's diabolical. Diabolical. Let's move on.
I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear. We are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. And once we gather as many facts as we possibly can, we will go from there. And that is all he said. And I can mention his name because I received his permission to say that.
Okay. This is interesting, though, guys. And remember, you know for a fact, everybody knows what I've been saying, guys. Everybody knows exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying is not far-fetched. It is the mother-loving truth. As soon as somebody, a man especially, gets the word R on them, or SA or SB or even DV or battery of any kind, abuse of any kind, it is a wrap for the guy. It is a wrap. Look at Mel Gibson. Has he really come back from the allegations and the recordings and all that stuff? Has he ever really come back from that? I know some of y'all are like, I like him. He's a patriot. But has he really come back? Has he been a top name in the movies and stuff? No. Nobody wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole. He making movies, but they're all trash now. Or they don't even say his name. They don't even say his name anymore. They don't even say, directed by Mel Gibson. They don't even say that anymore, man, because of how bad he destroyed his own career for the things that he was alleged of doing as well. And that recording too, right? So think about that for a second. There's a lot of people out here that have been accused of certain things like this that you never see or hear from ever again. Period. Mr. T51 said, who's Mel Gibson? Come on. You ain't never seen Braveheart? They'll take our land, but they'll never take our freedom. You know what I mean? Great movie. But it's like, it was great. Oh, snap. Now, it's kind of like when you hear any R. Kelly song. Step in the name of no. Oh, damn. I believe I can. Oh, snap. You know what I mean? Oh, he did that. Damn. You feel me? Let's move on, though. And I feel like it could be this, too. They're going to be quoting things from Club Shay Shay, and everyone's going to be like, that was funny, but oh, damn, his career is over. Oh. Why did he you know what I mean? Just a lot of people don't come back from this kind of stuff, y'all. Whether it's true or not, not a lot of people bounce back from these kind of allegations.
I don't know what that means. In my perfect world, this equates to Jay-Z, where the case ultimately dropped and Shannon is allowed to continue on First Take and continue to thrive and shine. And not just that, and have an illustrious career in the podcast stratosphere, doing Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, doing Club Shay Shay, and ultimately gets this $100 million deal that he was all over the news about to sign just a couple of days before this report came out. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth.
Again, this is going to be a very interesting situation. Shannon is cooked right now. I'm sorry. I know that there's going to be team, this is a shakedown to team, oh, he did that. I'm still erring on the side of this is a shakedown so far. It just seems very suspicious in my personal opinion. But at the same time, though, anything is possible. Anything is still possible. But it seems like 4D chess to me. This girl had time. She, of course, I feel was angry once he got caught live streaming. And this is all now coming circling around and biting him right in the butt. And she just set these things up. And you know what, ZBD? You're right. You know, both can be true. Yeah, both things could be true at the same time as well. That's possible as well. But again, I think she was plotting. I do think that. Why would you record this guy? Why would you record any of those things in the first place? But at the same time, I will also say this. If you have a person that yells at you all the time, that scolds you all the time, that gives you crap all the time, is argumentative all the time, I can see somebody recording that person being like, I'm so tired of this, the way that this person talks to me. I need to record this so I have proof. I can see that too. But I'm still erring on the side of this feels like a shakedown. It feels like it. But we don't know Shannon Sharpe. I don't know him. We ain't friends. I don't know him personally. Just something about this seems a bit off. It's just weird. It's just weird. Truth Seeker said, I'm Team Pascal. Why record? Just walk. Well, that's it too. That's it too. Here's the other thing too. That maybe he does. Maybe he is aggressive with her verbally. Maybe he does speak to her in a very bad way. So then she says, F it. I'm tired of the way he treats me. I'm going to record him now. And I got his ass. That's it. Now I'm going to say he's aggressive. He's verbally attacking me. He, talks down at me, so on and so forth. And now I'm going to add that to this whole new piece. He SAs me. He Rs me. He SBs me. And he's verbally vicious to me as well. Here are the recordings. Now you can hear it for yourself. He has threatened me multiple times, and I'm tired of it. So let's record it. That's possible. And then, maybe she was tired of it, and then she stacked on more story. That could be it too. She said, I'm sick of his aggressive, abusive ass. I'm going to record him. Now I got him saying that he's going to put his hands around my neck in this kind of way. Word? Okay. Let me throw in a little SA and RSB in there. Now I got a case. And no matter what I say, people are going to believe it because they have the recordings. We have the recordings, the video recordings and the audio recordings. So now I can paint and construct a whole story around this, just these two couple clips of him saying that he's going to put his hands around my neck. That's possible. That's possible, y'all. It's crazy. But like I said, I'm hoping the same thing like the Stephen A. Smith. I'm hoping that this is a Jay-Z situation where it's all fake news. It's all not true. But those recordings are bad. He's cooked on that end. He's cooked on that end. I don't know how he's going to explain that part. Okay? I don't know how he's going to explain all that. He's going to have to to address the world on that stuff as well, because there's going to be people that feel some type of way about how he was speaking to her, no matter what, no matter if he's innocent or not. But here's some other video, or this other video I want to share. Hold on, let me grab this. Fly Gal, thank you so much for being a member for the past year. Appreciate it. Thank you, Pascal, for all your hard work and the love and laughs. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. OMFG. Yeah. He offered 10 million and she said no. Yeah. That's crazy too. But it sounded like he offered her 10 million. They had something. They were about to work it out. Everything was going to be good. Everything was going good like baby gravy. Tongue and butthole. I'm sorry. Let me reset. Apparently everything seemed to be good. Okay. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she just decided to back out of the deal. That's allegedly what they're saying right now. All right. So $10 million was there. And then suddenly she said she didn't want that deal anymore, and then filed that lawsuit and turned his world upside down. Now, there is another girl that came out, and no, she's not saying that she was attacked by Shannon Sharpe or anything like that, but she did say something in here that I thought was interesting. Okay, so it says Bad Girls Club Stephanie George was not here for Shannon Sharpe's interview with her baby daddy, Darnell Rawlings. And I don't know if you know who Donnell Rawlings is, but he's a comedian. He was on Dave Chappelle's show. Okay, I'm rich, bitch. You know, that whole thing. Anyway, so comedian, funny dude, etc. All right. So she is now calling Shannon Sharpe out on hypocrisy, pointing out how he clowned their 23-year age gap, and now he's facing allegations involving someone much younger. Now, that's a big age gap too. 23 years is a big age gap, but not as big of an age gap as he had with this Jane Doe. All right. But I do want to play this because she said, because they had a whole conversation. It was kind of like a viral clip that was made a while back. And Ashy Larry. Ashy Larry. He was Ashy Larry and all that on the Chappelle show. But anyway, Shannon Sharpe had a whole conversation with Donnell Rawlings about this.
Bad girl.
I'm gonna
Her mom.
She's
play
20.
that part. There you go.
Darnell. 20. Why you didn't date her mom? Why you go for the Darnell?
I didn't date her mom because why didn't I date her mom?
Yeah, good question.
No, wait.
I'm asking the question.
No, because
this ain't the Darnell Rawlings show.
Love is love.
If you don't,
Love is love.
I agree with you.
What?
You like them young, though.
Say Drake, I heard you. Nope. Don't do that. I don't like him, young. I like what I love. I didn't groom nobody, son. It is what it is. But I can't date nobody my age and get what I wanted. What I look like getting a 48-year-old bitch pregnant. It's possible. It could have happened, but I ain't want them odds. She 20.
Okay. I get what he's saying. Okay. What Donnell is saying. Like, hey, I can't get what I want from, from an older woman, a woman my age. I get it to a certain extent. I get it. If you want kids, meeting someone who's in their 50s is going to be tough for you guys to have an actual child. I get it. But at the same time, the conversation is very interesting. That he says that you have Shannon Sharpe going in on Donnell. And meanwhile, he's probably just got done smashing old girl at the local, hotel before he had this interview with Donnell. All right. And that's the reason why Stephanie George, who happens to be the mother of Donnell Rawlings' child, is upset and basically saying, like, you go in on him making fun of our age gap when your age gap with the girl who's accusing you of R is way bigger than ours, right?
Will and Bad Girls really wanted to address something that has really been bothering me for the past couple of months. My son's dad is a comedian and an actor, and he did an interview with a man by the name of Shannon Sharpe on his podcast. Now, on that podcast, Shannon Sharpe did a lot of digging. My son is almost 10 years old, and my son's dad and I broke up over 6 years ago. So for him to ever try to bring me up or a family dynamic or the age gap is very, very shocking to me. It's not surprising, but I just feel like, my son's dad has a girlfriend already. Why not do digging on her? And he was making fun of him at the fact that we have an age difference of 23 years. And, he was saying, why didn't you date her mom? Where did you guys meet? Forever 21? Cracking up, just asking really invasive questions. And what really hurt me, this was the kicker, was the interview. And it also had this headline on it that said, Donnell Rawlings has baby club 23 years younger. So crazy. Insane. As you guys know, we co-parent. So I know that my son's getting older. I always think like, oh my God, one day my son is going to see this. And I just did not like, it felt very, very icky how it was put out there. It felt really exploitive. And like, I just didn't like it. I live my life in peace. I just take care of my son. I work and I spend time in my garden, and I just do as much as I can to contribute to my own peace. And so I just felt very disrespected at the fact that he labeled me as that. I was just some crazy 23-year-old woman that was on Bad Girls Club. I didn't like it. It sent me into a depression. It kept me up at night. It really, really bothered me. And so I was on Twitter. I prayed about it. I said, God, I'm old enough to know that like, there's just certain people that are not nice. There's certain people that are very nosy that will, they're like, let's do this for shock value so we can get a lot of views. It just turned me all the way off. Now, last night I was on Threads and I saw his name trending. I thought, wow, that's so weird. And then I clicked on it and I saw accuser. And, he's being accused of like really horrific things. And the girl was 19 when it started. So I'm thinking in my head, wow, you were really projecting. You went digging and you found the fact that we have a huge age gap, and you highlighted that and you tried to make fun of it, but you were actually really living that life, if not worse. I mean, this girl was a teenager. And, with all the evidence that she put out there, I don't know if it's, good evidence or not, or, whatever. The stuff that I seen was pretty awful. I just feel like if you live in a glass house, please don't throw stones. You are very quick with the lip to ask him details on and why didn't you date her mom? Why didn't you date her mom? Oh, did you guys meet at Forever 21? At least I was 21. You know what I'm saying? Like 19 is too young. You at your big age, that. You have kids that are probably older than that. It really hurt my feelings with that headline. And now look at all the headlines that you have, being accused by a 19-year-old. You literally, it's just like, it's crazy how, I wouldn't say karma works, but how the universe works. I knew that there was something not right as to why he was asking these questions. It just felt off. You know, it didn't feel like it was in good faith. And you were poking fun at it and you were living worse. So
She 20.
Okay. So again, let me just say this. Yeah. It's even what Donnell said too, like, hey, yeah, she's young, but it wasn't a grooming situation. It wasn't like that. A woman my age can't give me what I wanted, which is, I'm assuming, children, right? So, but you could have found somebody that was a little bit. You could have done a 12-year gap. It could have been a 10-year gap. It didn't have to be 23. But at the same time, I mean, love is love, and if you fall in love with somebody, you fall in love with somebody. That's it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But I get this Stephanie George's reaction to this. I get her being upset about him making, poking fun at this whole situation and all that, only to find out that he's out here dating someone who's 30 some odd years his junior. That's insane. A 30 some odd year age gap. That's massive. Massive. But we've seen it a million times before. Isn't it Bill Belichick's girlfriend or fiance now? Ain't he in his 60s and she's still in her 20s? We've seen it. We've seen it a million times before. What about a homegirl? Anna Nicole Smith Brown. Anna Nicole Smith. I'm sorry. Remember Anna Nicole Smith? Wasn't there a massive age gap between her? It was like 80-year-old husband and her. Shoot, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. They got new kids. They got fresh kids, by the way. And they all up in their 80s. No, I know Nicole Smith is gone, but I'm just saying, wasn't there a huge age gap between her husband and her before he died? And then she got all his money. And then God knows what happened to her. Yeah, Cher. What about Mick Jagger, Hugh Hefner, Madonna? There's a lot of them that have huge age gaps. So again, I'm not here to judge on the age gap part because we've seen it a million times and we've seen plenty of people find, a fresh new relationship of some sort with a younger person. A lot of times I side-eye it, especially when you see older cats with these younger people. I instantly go, wow, are you really sure that person's there for love? They really want to be with your crusty, wrinkly old age. All right. I mean, if that's what works for you, however you see it in your mind, all right then. But at the same time, when they come at you with this kind of stuff and they put their age out there as a part of the whole thing, it basically goes, oh, because of his age and his status, he was manipulating her from the jump because she was young and naive, etc. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I feel like, that's your business if you want to date people who are younger than you, like massively younger than you. But at the same time, I also do think that there are women closer to your age that you can maybe find to love and are on the same page as you. But that's just my thoughts on that part. All right. What he's being accused of, what he's being alleged of doing is some pretty insane stuff. He made a lot of mistakes in this particular situation, picking this kind of relationship with this type of person. We don't know, and that's the thing. If we're looking at this on the side of this is a shakedown and he has just been conned and messed with this entire time, it's very easy for us to look at this and say, well, he chose the wrong type of person. But then at the same time, if this is really not a shakedown and Shannon Sharpe is a monster, then then rightfully so, she's getting, this is exactly what he gets. But I also think that if there really is a crime that was committed and it's still within the statute of limitations, he should be looking at criminal charges first before they even look at civil. That's the reason why, one of the main reasons why I side-eyed this lawsuit, because not every person wants to see the money before they see actual justice. And if you have an opportunity to see actual justice before you see financial justice, wouldn't you want to see that monster locked up for good? And then you go after them civilly, and then you get that bag? Isn't that what you would want? But like I said, I'm not every person. I'm not every victim or every survivor of these monsters out here, especially those high profile, very highly respected and highly successful monsters out here. But if I were one of them, I'd want to see them locked up first and then get the bag. That's just me. So when I see it the other way around, and then that there's no criminal charges made at all, I take a big step backwards. Then on top of it, I look at Tony Busby being a part of this as well. And right now, his track record has not been good. So I take another big step backwards and look at the big picture and say, where are the charges? Where are the criminal charges? You really want to destroy this man's life? Which is clearly what they're trying to do. Think about this. Him in handcuffs. Him doing a perp walk. That would destroy him. Absolutely destroy him. Way more than a sex tape. Think about that for a second. Because if they're really trying to destroy his name and destroy all the things that he's worked for, him getting caught, detained, arrested, and charged with actual crimes would destroy everything that he's working for. Real talk. Think about it, guys. But this woman, this accuser, is only going after the bag, which makes me go, really? That's it? It's just the bag? If he viciously did those things and you want justice, financial justice is it? What about getting him off the streets so that he doesn't do this to other victims? Think about that, guys. Think about it. But that is the show, guys. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. And of course, as time continues to go forward, we're going to find out more information. We will. But we have yet to see him get any criminal charges. We're just looking at money. Seems weird. Just in my personal opinion. But like I said, I'm not her. So we'll see as time goes on. Because there's more coming out, I'm sure. Trust. I'm sure tomorrow there'll be more things that drop. Because they're really trying to get her. They're really trying to get him to settle outside of court. You see that though, right? They're really trying to get him to settle outside of court. That's what I think is happening. And I think he's sitting there going, well, wait. What if I give you, okay, fine. I will give you the $50 million. I'll give you $50 million. Just don't leak that sex tape. Please don't do it. We'll see though. More information is going to be coming out. Trust. More's coming out. Trust. Anyway, guys, appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. All right? Please and thank you. Subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go subscribe over there. That'd be greatly appreciated. Show some love over there. Subscribe to both channels. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. And don't forget to check out PascalMerch.com. Please and thank you. All right. Be on the lookout. I got another video coming out. Another pop-up videos revolving around Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf in just a little bit. Be on the lookout because we got some stuff to talk about on that as well. All right. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys and see you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.